Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about authenticity and the price of fame and really what you have to give up in order to be truly like miraculously famous or even a little bit famous in this world. And every time I think about this topic, I think about the one-hit wonders and how much respect now that I have for one-hit wonders, because what I realized is that one-hit wonders were offered something that they said no to. They were asked to trade something in their life that they did not think was worth millions of dollars. And that is very, very respectable. I mean, we have seen now hundreds, if not thousands of celebrities come out and say, you know what? I essentially sold my soul to the devil. I got involved with drugs. I got involved with debauchery. I got involved with sort of these immoral, amoral acts with this, that, and the third person. And a lot of them are regretting their choices, a la Justin Bieber. And so I just want to talk a little bit about, just your character and the price of fame. And I know that we're living in a day and age where, it seems like you can get wealthy and get super rich and super wealthy online and without being in that industry. But I now realize that even if you become wealthy, period, there will be someone trying to move you into the club, so to speak, the Diddy club, so to speak. So I think about Diddy. First it was Diddy, then it was Shannon Sharp, and now it's Tyler Perry and Burrell. That's the name of the chef, right? And all of these people are caught up in these scandalous behaviors. And we have to ask ourselves, why is it that when people get a little bit or a lot of money, that they feel compelled to completely give up any sense of morality, any sense of right and wrong, any sense of decorum, any sense of dignity? In the case of Diddy, he has blackmailed thousands and thousands of artists and rappers and musicians. And it seems to be par for the course that once you get a little bit of money or if you want to be famous, you have to play this game. You have to be in the Diddy club. And we really see this with Tyler Perry's lawsuit. If you didn't know, Tyler Perry is being sued right now for harassment of the sexual nature because he essentially bribed one of his actors for favors. And it seems to me that in order to be successful, period, you either have to give up your most valued possession, which is your sexuality, right? Like your something that cannot be bought, or you have to give up your morals. And sometimes those are not the same for people, right? So sometimes it's you have to start doing drugs. You have to get, you have to, go against your own conscience. And sometimes it's you have to engage in these sort of Diddy party type behaviors. But it seems to me like that is the price of fame. And it's really is that worth it? Is it really worth it for millions and millions of dollars for a lifetime of heartache and maybe drug addiction and maybe, increased trauma? Because here's the thing that I notice happens also. A lot of people, and there's something to this, a lot of people who are uber wealthy or who get these massive deals are people who come from downtrodden families or they had rough upbringings, and they're really the perfect target for fame because these people will do anything for money, anything. Right? Because they've never had it, and they're deep down inside, they believe that maybe it will solve some problems that they have. The second thing that happens with these people is that because they have a lot of trauma, when they get money, that trauma gets exacerbated by the money. and you see them engaging and acting in ways to try and quell or try and, diminish any sort of harsh feelings that they have. I talked about this in my video about obesity being a trauma response, because what happens, the same thing that happens with wealth happens with, people who are obese. You get all of this money and you think, oh, well, the reason why I'm angry, or the reason why I don't have friends, or the reason why I have anxiety is because I don't have money. And I grew up poor. So once I get money, I'll be all right. Once I get money, I'm going to be able to, all this stuff is going to go away. And people think, well, once I get money, I'll just buy trainers and buy food and I'll lose weight. But it's much deeper than that. Once you get money, your character just gets overblown. Your character, whatever your character naturally is, it increases. So these people, it seems like they find themselves in a situation where they have all of this money and it doesn't make them happy. And now, instead of just going to therapy, or instead of going to a counselor, or instead of reading their Bible and going to God, they end up engaging in all manner of foolishness to try and make themselves happy, because the money was supposed to do it, but it can't. Do you see what I'm saying? The money was supposed to do it, but it can't. So the price of fame is really, and not for everybody, but for a lot of people, is giving up healing. And I think about, this Derek Dixon, or whatever his name is, that's filing a lawsuit against Tyler Perry. I think about the fact that, he knew what he was doing. He may have not wanted to, but he knew what he was doing. He decided that it was more worth it to have money than to turn down the Tyler Perry. He made that choice. And even if he had never done anything with Mr. Perry, with Tyler Perry, the simple fact that he was willing to violate his conscience to have money was the price that he paid. Because once you do that, you can really do anything. Once you decide that, money is actually worth my values, money is worth my morality, then anything goes. And that's why we see these people getting in these terrifying situations. I've said this about Justin Bieber for a long time. Justin Bieber is high out of his mind, trying to forget the things that happened to him in the industry, by the way, trying to run away from the people who have blackmailed him in the industry, by the way. And that's the price that he paid for money. Now, granted, he was very, very young and he was absolutely taken advantage of. Some of these people are adults and they're consciously making the decision to forego their values for fame and money. I think about Black China, and she illustrated this so perfect. I mean, she was making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And at some point she was like, there is no amount of money in the world that is going to give me peace. And that's really what people are looking for. They're looking for peace with money. And when they get millions of dollars, they realize that it can't give them money. So they turn to drugs, they turn to, sex, or even more money. And we know, and this is going to sound so, tinfoil hatty, but we know that the millionaires and billionaires in this world are sick people. They are not well. They are engaging in some of the most debaucherous and vile behaviors. And so if you're seeking more and more and more and more and more and more, you're going to end up doing those things. And they will tell you, this is, if you want to be wealthy and famous, you need to do these things. And then you walk away with shame because you have no dignity, because you just violated your own conscience and you violated, your own morality. And now they have you in a chokehold. And that's the price that people are paying for fame. And so, I think about even sometimes like YouTubers, and I've heard people talk about this who are not even necessarily like millionaires, but they've been offered some sort of deal for a brand that they don't agree with, that doesn't match their values. And it starts with that little thing, right? So I have a lot of friends who are Christians, and if they're offered, hey, do this brand deal, but you need to speak on something that goes against your own Christian values, and we'll pay you $50,000 for one video. That's how it works. And if you go, okay, sure, $50,000 for one video, like that's some people's entire salary for a 10-minute video. And you go, okay, pretty soon you're like, well, I did that one, I did that one, I did that one. And pretty soon you're way off base. So this is just, I don't know, this is for me, this is for you, this is for whoever. But don't sell your soul for your values and your morality, because it's very, very hard to get that back. It's very hard. Black China has talked about this. It's very, very hard to respect yourself once you violate your conscience. It's very, 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 very difficult. All right, you guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if this video resonated with you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.